Today I'm joined by Jones, Jones Amegbor. Jones, thank you for joining us. Please introduce yourself. Tell us what you do and how long you've been doing it for.
Hi there, Harminder. Thank you very much for having me today. My name is Jones Amegbor, and I am the founder and CEO of Paying Group, which trades as Pay Angel globally. We are in Dartford, and it's absolutely lovely in Kent. We chose Kent as opposed to London because I personally love the greenery. And it's a much quieter place. What we do is we are a cross-border payments institution, which is licensed by the FCA. And we're specifically focusing on African migrants who are looking to connect back to their home countries financially. But importantly, what we do is different from everybody else because we make sure that money they send back home ends up in the right hands and also for the right purpose. So there's no risk of fund diversion at all. That is what differentiates us from everybody else like Western Union, etc. And that's what we've been doing. So we started off in the UK and then expanded into other countries. Pre-Brexit, we were in Netherlands, Germany, Italy, and Spain. And then we went into Canada, and now we're preparing to get into the US. We started off on the receive side, which is Africa. We started off with Ghana and added Nigeria. And I'm very happy to say that before this quarter ends, we will have over 20 countries on the receive side.
Fantastic, fantastic. So tell me, in terms of your customers, are they individuals? Are they business owners? Are they both? Who are they?
On the send side, so from UK, etc., they're mostly individuals because they're the ones we're looking to solve the problem for. We do have plans to expand that to businesses, but on the receive side, it's both individuals and businesses. And importantly, our focus is on businesses so that senders can send money to businesses directly without the middleman. So we are onboarding a lot of businesses onto our platform to make it easier for people who look like me and want to connect back to their home countries financially can pay for things directly, like their mortgages, without it being diverted.
Excellent. Thank you for that insight. So let me take you on a little bit of a tangent because I know you've had quite a long business history. Okay. So tell me, who is the person that comes to your mind when you consider success or when you think about success?
A number of people. Initially, I would say Bob Diamond of Barclays. However, that's only because I worked at Barclays when
you have that banking background.
Bob Diamond was there. But if I was to pick one person that I wasn't connected to, it would be Jack Ma. And the reason is very simple. Looking at where he started from, becoming a teacher and all, and then building the Alibaba it's incredible what he achieved with Alibaba, coming from his background, which I can relate to really because I share similar background.
Yeah, and it's obviously his business or online based really, aren't they mainly, which is a similar format to yours, right?
Absolutely. And that's the reason why I think when I look at his story, I can absolutely relate.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. So you told me earlier that, you went through COVID, just like obviously the rest of the world. Okay. Were there any business changes, anything you had to change to your model that you considered COVID-19 made a necessity?
It's actually very simple, remote working. Pre-COVID, most businesses like ourselves didn't think that remote working would be a mainstay, and we're always looking at how to make it possible for people to work from home and connect. And for our business, we've always tried to push that, but COVID accelerated that and made it normal. So it doesn't look like we're doing something completely different anymore. And frankly, it has saved costs from maintaining physical offices and everything you have to put in the physical security and everything. That's all gone. So remote working for me is the biggest change that COVID introduced. In terms of business impact, for us, it hasn't really impacted us negatively. Because of what we do, we're already in the digital space, and COVID meant that people transition more and more into the digital space, which in effect, the net impact is positive on our business, although there were instances where people's income reduced. The fact that there were a lot more people transitioning to the digital space made it a net positive impact on our business.
Excellent. So that's your biggest changes. What would you say have been your biggest learnings that you could share since you started business, not just over COVID, but since you started? What would you say your biggest learnings?
It's a big lie to to dream and think that when you own your own business, you can choose the hours you want to work. Everything way to be so easy. In fact, you go from 9 to 5, which you hate, to 24 hours. So that is the biggest lie we tell ourselves, but it's actually a rewarding journey if you're doing something you love. So it doesn't become a 9 to 5 job which you hate. Although you're working more hours and putting in a whole lot more, it's not as frustrating because you're doing something you love. Especially
if it's something you love. Absolutely. Let me take you a little bit into the future. Okay, 5 years on, where do you see your company? What are your aspirations for your company?
We see ourselves connecting Africans everywhere back to their home country, and being the #1 company for cross-border payments for Africans. We see ourselves running a blockchain-enabled wallet, which makes payments seamless and at zero cost, really. One of the reasons why we set up is to remove or reduce the cost of cross-border payments, because Africa being the poorest continent, by all accounts, we still pay a whole lot more to send money back home. And for us, that is not acceptable. So we want to do our part to make sure that the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN are met. And so we see ourselves in the next 5 years pretty much reducing that cost to below even the UN target of 3%. It's currently at somewhere between 8 to 14%, and that is ridiculous.
Oh, that's a fantastic insight. I wasn't aware of that. Thank you. If we talk about your employment, obviously you have employees there. Well, tell me your journey in terms of recruitment. Has it been difficult? Has it been easy? What's it been like finding and recruiting good people?
That's a tough question. It sounds simple, but it is a tough question. It has been difficult. Find the right talent for the right budget. Especially as a startup, it's very difficult. When you're building something that is specialized. You need the right people in the right places. However, you're competing with, in our case, with the banks, with almost limitless resources. So how then do you attract people or convince them that this is the right thing to do? And the next thing is, because you're a startup, there's almost very limited resources in paying salaries. Can you convince someone to give up their salary? The answer is no. So finding that balance has always been difficult because, first of all, not many people have that entrepreneurial spirit. I found out very quickly that there's two sets of employees: those with entrepreneurial spirit and can start anything you give them, they can start it and run with it. And those who want to get into an organization that's already set up and they can manage the processes that have already been built. And unfortunately, that is most of us. So finding those who have the entrepreneurial spirit and can make the sacrifices, etc., it's the toughest bit. And also convincing them to stay on the course for a long journey without seeing immediate financial reward. That is tough.
That's tough.
In fact, if you had I'd known that before starting this, I probably wouldn't have started. But you know what? Sometimes it's good to get into, once you have a vision, you carry a vision, it's good to start because you will find the energy to get going and push through all the barriers when that time comes.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think there are so many things out there. You know, if we knew what challenges we were going to have to overcome, we probably wouldn't have started them in the first place.
Absolutely. So the best advice is always start. Once you believe you want to do something, start it.
Absolutely. So let me take you back to when you were younger, to when you were 18 years old. What one piece of advice, or maybe it doesn't have to be one, but what sort of advice would you give to your 18 younger self?
I was too focused. I'll say, Jones, relax and enjoy yourself.
Enjoy.
Yeah, that is the one piece of advice I give myself. Just relax and enjoy yourself.
Fantastic piece of advice. Thank you for that. So Jones, if we wanted to use services or we wanted to connect you for some other business reason, how could anybody watching this, how can they reach you? How can they contact you and find out more about you?
Well, our website is payangel.com. You can get any information we have on Payangel over there. But I will encourage those looking to use the service to download our app, which is available on both Android and iOS. All you have to do is to type in Payangel, and that's it. With 2 minutes, you're probably up and running, and the next 1 minute, you can send money anywhere in Africa. Excellent.
Well, thank you very much. Jones, it's been really insightful speaking to you today. I've learned a lot, so thank you very much for that. And I wish you and your company the very best for the future. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.